So I've just driven up from Wellington and I've made it to my campground for the night, which is this place here. Well, not on the water, obviously. The campground is called Dodders Lake Motor Camp. That's Dodders Lake, I guess. I'm just having a walk at the moment to try and find a spot. At the moment I've parked sort of near the entrance. I don't know, I can see my van sort of through the trees but every now and then, but it's quite far, I'm not sure how well. Just back there with the two kayaks on it. But it's on an angle, and also I'm not actually sure if it's strictly speaking meant to be part of the campground. There is another van there, which is why I parked there, but it sort of looks to me like most of the campers are behind that building there, just the ablutions block. I'm thinking I might end up parking under these trees here. It's flat and it's definitely part of the campground. The only thing is I obviously don't want to block a designated site. It looks like there are powered sites there, which I don't need. I just need a patch of grass, that'll do me. Reason why I'm not sure about all these things is that I called ahead to check if there was availability, and the gentleman who takes care of this campground isn't here this evening, or at least wasn't here when I checked in, so he told me just to make myself at home and that I can set up and pay him in the morning. So that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, I'll just slowly walk back. People seem really friendly, everyone's been saying hello. Yeah. Hello! So I've arrived in Whanganui. Oh, that's the tram, not sure if you can hear it. It reminds me of Christchurch, which is where I grew up. We've got the same trams there. Anyway, I've just popped into the eyesight, which is definitely the must place first stop every time you come to a new place in New Zealand. They give you lots of info. I've just been given a heap. I was only planning on stopping here and then camping somewhere near New Plymouth, but there's so much to do. So we'll see how much we can get through. It's already like 11 o'clock. I did sleep in this morning accidentally, but I guess that rest was well needed. All right, let's go. But basically the trust that runs these does want to eventually have these going throughout the whole township, which I hope they will be successful in. This particular tram is called Mabel, apparently, and it's completely run by volunteers, which is really cool to see. just stopped at the glass blowing studio, which I had heard of before actually, and now I'm going to pop into the Museum of Studio Ceramics, which I personally am very interested in, as I do ceramics myself. At the gallery, feeling very inspired. Like I said, I do pottery. I started it maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago or so, just working out of my garage and just really dabbling, to be honest, but I'm really wanting to get more into it this year. That's one of my goals for the year. I didn't know this, but actually the gentleman in there, he started up the emerging awards for, well, the awards for emerging practitioners in clay. And they had the exhibition of the previous winners there, which was cool to see how much people can achieve in really a very short period of time. The other thing that was nice, actually I better explain the backstory first, nothing related to pottery but more related to COVID in New Zealand. So New Zealand was completely COVID free. We managed to completely eradicate the original strain of COVID out of New Zealand in 2020, and then we lived for about 1 year pretty much without any major outbreaks, just as normal. None of this mask wearing, hugging, you know, as if it were pre-pandemic. Unfortunately, last year in August, the Delta strain made it to New Zealand, specifically to the city that I live, Auckland, which is the biggest city, so that does make sense, I guess, that that would be where it would take root. And we weren't able to eradicate it, and in fact Auckland ended up being in lockdown for about 4 months, which was rather a long period of time. But the good news is, in that time we got our vax rates up massively. We're now one of the highest vaccinated countries in the world, and as a result Delta is actually dropping completely, to the stage where if there were appetite and desire to do so, we probably could eradicate it again now, but you know, there's not really any point anymore, I don't think. We went from hundreds of cases a day to now less than 10 cases a day. So it's incredible, really, how effective the vaccine is in measures like wearing masks and social distancing. However, because it was in my city, I've been getting sort of, I guess, mixed reactions traveling around New Zealand. Obviously, we were in lockdown to keep the rest of New Zealand safe, and it wasn't the easiest, I have to say. I'm sure everyone, if anyone from the rest of the world that has gone through even tougher measures, longer lockdowns than we have, does understand that. But reactions have ranged from people literally jumping away from me, just worried looking faces. But today I got the first pleasant reaction from the gentleman who did run the gallery, Mr. Rudd, who told me welcome and to enjoy my freedom finally, and yeah, that I was welcome, and he hoped that I had a nice holiday, which, after how difficult last year was, just a small thing like that, I actually really appreciated. So yeah, highly recommend visiting the Quartz Studio Ceramic Gallery if you're ever in Whanganui. person who omits to shut and fasten this gate is liable to a penalty not exceeding 40 shillings. How long has this gate been here? Shillings! So I'm currently at the Paloma Gardens, which are about a 20-minute drive away from Whanganui. The cost is $10 entry, cash only, which was a bit tricky for me since I don't normally carry cash, but yeah, make sure you get it out before you venture here. And so far it's really beautiful. It has been registered as a National Garden of Significance in New Zealand. So yeah, let's take a look. Frog. Garden of Death. Well, that's not ominous at all. What's behind this deceptively colourful looking gate? So it's basically a head hut. What's your head? I just passed by a sign that said that the planting here started in 1990, which is really incredible because they've got a massive variety of trees, flowers, plants from all over the world, ceramics, art. They've done an incredible job. It seems they also offer accommodation here, bed and breakfast, as well as camping, which I probably would have looked into if I'd known about it in advance, but I don't have enough cash on me to afford that, unfortunately. So maybe next time. The plan is after this to head a bit closer to New Plymouth, maybe drive around 2 hours along the coast, and then go to New Plymouth and the Taranaki National Park tomorrow. Planning on driving the coastal route. It's what has been recommended to me. And yeah, this area definitely deserves further exploration. There is also a national park in Whanganui which contains a river, and it's basically one of the great walks in New Zealand, which are basically the nicest, I guess, walks of national significance. But this one's special in that Great Walk is a bit of an off term, given that this one is actually completed by boat. I do have my kayaks with me, but unfortunately I don't have 5 days to spare, which is the approximate length it takes to do the walk. So another time. It looks stunning. But yeah, slowly traveling along the coast. Check out some lighthouses that were recommended to me by a gentleman on the Blue Bridge ferry, actually, from Picton to Wellington. And yeah, see where the next few days take me.